Okay, guys, check it out. I wanted to know what the cost of the grow is, so I decided to ask ChatGPT. I thought about what the price would be for a small grow tent where I live now, something that I can set up. And well, I didn't think these numbers were correct until I went to the pricing and saw all the things that I do need for this build. The currency is in South African rand, but I'm gonna put in a dollar amount next to it just to sum of the total so that you can work from that. If I do choose a setup, it would be for a mid-range build, and ChatGPT also gave me places where I can buy whatever I need. I also asked it to compare it to outdoor grow. I'm going to keep the comparison at 4x4 tent, and also all grows from here on will be for 6 plants. I'm not gonna go through individual numbers, so or else this video will be very long. But yeah, I'll just go through some totals. Gave me a nice little comparison for indoor versus outdoor. And for me, I see that the equipment cost is what gets me with the indoor grow. With the outdoor, I can say that the pests, yes, the pests got me this last grow, but we're starting to deal with it. The indoor grow, I like the idea of having more grows per year. Although where I am, the sunlight is good and you should use your environment. Indoor and outdoor grow, there's a lot of pros and cons. I also asked about electricity use because that's something that we in South Africa actually have a problem with because the calculation was made for a 4x4 tent and for 6 plants, so it'll work it out from there. I got really bored with numbers, so I'm not gonna bore you with the numbers. So all I wanted to know what would one grow cycle cost, so that I can work out how many other cycles I would need with indoor grow. It also worked it out for veg and flower grow, so those are estimations, and it would probably depend on where you live and everything. There's some power saving tips if you should use this method, but I don't know how much it would save you, to be honest. So then I needed to know how much electricity I was about to use in one cycle, and then I needed to work out what that cost of that electricity would be for that cycle. So this is just the usage of one tint for one cycle, and that's only the tint. That doesn't even come close to my monthly electricity bill, and yeah, since we in South Africa have load shedding and power outages, I thought I would need some backup power, so I had to look for maybe a battery bank or a power station or something. So I have to factor that into uh, the overall costs. With this ChatGPT worked out, yeah, what's going to be working when everything is all good, and how many hours, obviously. And in the end, gave me a couple of choices for a power station. And I have to say, right off the bat, I have to save up for one of these. I could also go a solar and battery charger route over here, but let's stick to this. While all of this is ongoing, I thought I still need nutrients. So, what type of nutrients would I need for a cycle? And this would obviously be nutrients for both vegetative and for flowering stage. So it worked it out and gave me some ideas where I would get these. Uh, the rough nutrient cost came out and it was up to there. Grow is out there. Is this correct? I don't know. I pay way less for my nutrients. That much I can say. And I shouldn't forget the seeds. And since I wanted 6 plants, it gave me just a average of what everything would cost. So I might have forgotten to include the soil though, but yeah, some things would be forgotten. There's a lot of things that are probably left out. If anyone wants to correct it, then please speak up. Now, scrolling down to the total for the full setup and one cycle, that's 25K in South African rands. I do not know if ChatGPT is correct. Any of you indoor growers tell me if this is true. It also gave me an estimations for yield per gram and all that. And then it also showed me that in the future growth cycle, it would be cheaper because I won't be buying some of the equipment again. So my next grow would be around 4.5K. And yeah, that's still a very steep number. While that cost per gram seems very enticing, initial costs do stop me from having an indoor grow tent. From here on, I ask you to compare the two with each other so that you can have a side by side comparison of what indoor versus outdoor would look like. And well, obviously, outdoor one in the sense of um, how cheap it would be because you don't have that initial setup costs and everything. ChatGPT might have worked this out with an organic grow, not with a nutrient grow, same as the indoor, so it might come across a little cheaper. I'm also an advocate to go all organic, so this actually went into my favor. Electricity? Nah, baby, the sun is free. So from here, gonna compare the totals, and the outdoor grow cost is initially less, but on your next grows for your indoor, I think those prices are quite close to each other. That startup cost for indoor grow is a little bit steep. Outdoor grow feels a little bit more feasible because of lower input costs. So most people, I think, would go that way. But with outdoor, you actually get better yields, especially if you have more sunlight. Less control though, less stealth though, and for me, it was the insects. They're terrible. But if you don't use what you have, you won't get through anything. So you gotta use what you have. I then had the brilliant idea of asking ChatGPT how to grow like the Northern Cape grower. And you can pause for these parts if you want to read what ChatGPT had to say about me. But looks like all good things. I also have a little coffee page. If you want a way to support the channel, that's your way. You can also check it out. I'm gonna put up all my pics there, camera reels and stuff like that, and projects that I'm working on that I can't put on YouTube because they keep on age restricting my stuff. So if you want to check it out, support the channel, check it there. If you want to leave a like, that'll be cool too. I want to grow the. I have to say, ChatGPT was quite accurate because even there it says I reuse the genetics and clones and seeds and stuff. So yeah, ChatGPT knows all and sees all, but also ChatGPT might be wrong. So remember, do your research. The reason for me growing was to be able to sustain a plant and then afterwards getting me some seeds and then knowing that I can keep at least this plant alive. In the end, I confessed to ChatGPT that I was the Northern Cape grower, and the response was, "Hey, let's go! The legend in the house! Your videos are absolutely golden for budget growers in South Africa, showing people how to grow fire from scraps and sunshine." Okay, but at this point, I wasn't done yet, so I thought, how many people would be able to afford the different ways of growing? So I asked you to work out South African income of the South African citizens and the percentage of the people that would be able to afford the different methods. And so it pulled up the average monthly salaries, monthly incomes, and all that shit. So I'm not going to bore anybody with numbers. I don't know if this is correct. So, anybody want to go check, and let us know. Apparently, my style is very minimal with a monthly running cost. So, yeah. And then came the affordability by income bracket. And as you can see there, that is what people make, and those are the people that can afford it. So, if you want to stick up your hand and tell me what your income bracket, haha, that's one thing. Me, I gotta save for that thing, unfortunately, and it's gonna be a long while to save for that thing. Now, obviously, everybody's situation is not the same. You can afford what you can afford, and you can do what you can do. My way is just basically a way for anybody to be able to grow and then sustain it with nutrients and stuff that they source themselves, basically. The Northern Cape grower, green on all fronts. Woohoo! Uh, Never been an indoor grower, so I don't know if these costs are correct. So if anybody wants to correct it, put it in the comments, please. Outdoor growers as well, and I will contend that my method is cheap as floop. I also asked a side by side for setup costs between South Africa and USA, and for me this was quite interesting. I have not a clue if these are correct at all. So, any indoor and outdoor growers, you tell me, is this the cost of the grow? Is this how much things cost now to be able to have some decent bud? I think out there in the world, there's plenty of people that don't start growing just because of the fear of growing, of not knowing what they do and how things work, and the fear of failure. And, well, to grow it, it's expensive. It gets expensive the better you want to do. But my way of growing, I've been thinking I want to see if I can get the best bud that I can deliver at a minimal cost, because the cost of living is so much. So join my journey. This is it. This is what I do. Lekker vibes, mother lovers.